Hi guys, welcome to the weekly news recap of Valor Strategy, where we talk about the latest stories in MMA and UFC. In this video, we'll go over the Conor McGregor vs Nate Diaz feud, that's Dana White's update on Francis Ngannou, Team Diaz's backstage brawl, plus some bonus content at the end. Make sure you keep watching till the end so you don't miss out on this special story that we have for you. McGregor and Diaz's feud continues over the internet. On Monday night, Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz had a back and forth. It started with Conor tweeting, "This power slap championship is growing on me. Who doesn't like watching good quality clatters?" He continued as it as a flip of a coin who gets to go first. How long do they have to recover before they get to throw their counter? Or is it over if they're code? Fascinating. I'm attending one of these 100%. Is this Dana's? WTF, is this madness, Dana? I'm in. He followed up with me versus Nate on it for the title. Maybe that's a title you'd have a better chance of coming close to winning, Nate, you little slapper. Continuing the feud, Nate Diaz replied, "Well, I already beat you with that game too." He continued, "If submissions weren't allowed, I knocked you out way faster than Floyd did. But it was real, so I choke you better and faster than kebab." Nate ended it off with "Boom roast," to which Conor replied, "Got you back with concussions." Real smacks, Conor replied as their feud continued. Now this tale is as old as time, and we don't think it's ending anytime soon. Who has the upper hand in this? Let us know in the comments below. UFC 284 takes further hit as fighter withdraws. UFC 284 already lacked depth as soon as it was announced that Robert Whittaker vs Paulo Costa, the co-main event of the card, wouldn't go ahead due to failed discussions with Costa.
G'day everybody, I'm sure you've seen the media and the rumours going around right now about the Perth card, and it's upsetting to say, it's very upsetting to say that they're true. The fight with Costa has fallen apart. UFC tried everything in their power to get him to the fight. They gave him the new contract, from what I understand, to take the fight, and he still didn't take the fight. So the Perth fight is not happening.
Despite the excitement surrounding UFC 284, a huge flyweight matchup has significantly hurt the event. Now, the event has been hit again with yet another withdrawal from one of the most promising fighters out there. Taken to Instagram, the starlet Kai Kara of France recently revealed he won't be able to compete at UFC 284 against Alex Perez. Kai posted on Instagram, "Unfortunately, due to injury, I've had to withdraw from my upcoming fight in Perth. I'm disappointed that I won't be able to compete in front of everyone in Australia. I apologize to everyone who has supported me. Although this has been frustrating, I am confident in my choice. Hopefully, and I can run it again the following year. Have a great holiday and keep secure. I'll see you in the octagon again in 2023. Love to everyone." Since losing to Brandon Morneau at UFC 277 for the interim flyweight championship, Kara France hasn't competed. Prior to that, he had won 3 straight matches, including victories over Rogerio Bontorin and Cody Garbrandt. Whether Perez will continue on the card and take on another opponent is up in the air. Kara France hasn't officially withdrawn from UFC 284 according to the UFC. Although it's unclear how long Kara France will be out of action, it seems he's eager to reschedule the Perez fight. Further controversy as UFC rocked with betting scandal. Due to strange betting activity surrounding a fight between Shaylan Nuadambik and Derek Minner, the UFC is currently embroiled in one of MMA's biggest scandals, and the FBI is currently looking into the promotion over allegations of fight fixing. The catalyst for it all was Minner's first round TKO loss to Nuadambik, which was cornered by current coach James Cross, an ex-UFC fighter. A few days later, when asked about his level of concern for the sport of MMA and the UFC in light of the investigations, Dana White struck a different tone while participating in the UFC 282 post-fight news conference. Cyril, White said, "I have no concerns at all. These guys were warned not to wager on fights by us. Do you know how this will turn out? You lose if I penalize them. They will be sent to a King federal jail."
How concerning is this for you about kind of the integrity not only of this organization but as the sport as a whole?
Zero. I'm not worried about it at all. People ask me, well, what were they talking about? Somebody was saying, well, what's the UFC going to do? We let these guys know not to bet on fights. Do you know what the outcome of this is? Like, if I penalize them, you get cut. They're gonna go to fucking federal prison.
Although MMA instructor James Cross and former UFC fighter Derek Minner are the subjects of the investigations, not the UFC, the organization should be extremely concerned about those inquiries, as there's already too much backlash against the organization, especially when it comes to judging decisions. Darren Wynn's career at a crossroads. Darren Wynn's tenure with the UFC is over. The longtime teammate of UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier and former standout in college wrestling has been fired from the promotion. The news was confirmed by UFC on Thursday. Most recently, Wynn was supposed to fight Julian Marquez at UFC Vegas 66, but he had to withdraw just 2 days before the event due to an injury.
What's up, guys? I just wanted to come on here and kind of make a video about what's going on right now. I'd rather be able to vocalize it than, you know, type something. I think I communicate better this way. So I think Tuesday, I got a phone call from Hunter Campbell in the UFC, and I guess, you know, we decided to part ways. He, you know, just explained some things to me about, you know, my resume and my career that, you know, adds up. But I also said a few things that, you know, try to defend myself, and I just feel like this wasn't the reason to let me go. I think that, you know, they've had reasons in the past to let me go, but I just wished that I could have went out on my shield. I would have rather went out with a loss, or, you know, even a boring win. Than such a accidental, just a freak accident situation that happened to me at the PI. They have it on camera. Their employees are the ones who, you know, took care of me. They withdrew me from the fight. It wasn't me. While I was at the hospital, they tried to put IVs in me, and one, you can't have an IV for drug testing before you fight, and it would put weight on you. And I tried to refuse the IV. I called Dr. Davidson, and I tried to tell him that I didn't want the IV so I could fight, and it was at that time he told me, "I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to fight due to liability reasons." And, you know, I cooperated everything they did, went home the next day, talked to them, communicated everything that they needed to do, and then this is the decision they made. It's kind of shitty. I feel shitty about it. I just wish it would have happened a different way.
Wynn disclosed that he passed out during a workout at the UFC Performance Institute, fell down some steps as a result, and suffered a mild concussion. Following Wynn's withdrawal from the fight, Marquez and Wynn's bout was called off. After being released from the UFC, he will now need to find a new fighting home. Wynn responded negatively to the news, particularly given the timing of the postponement of his previous battle. He posted on Twitter, being released following a freak accident on their property the week before Christmas. There has never been a truer statement than it's business, not personal. Wynn was added to the UFC roster in 2019 after amassing a perfect 5-0 record in the local fighting scene, which included a victory over Tom Lawler on the first and only Golden Boy MMA event. In his debut, he defeated Eric Spicely in the fight of the night, but he lost his following 2 fights to Darren Stewart and Gerald Mearshare. With a final record of 2-3, Wynn leaves the promotion. Perhaps he can still recover and be picked up by another platform, but for the time being, he would have to call quits on making it big in UFC. If you've made it this far, we want to say thank you. Now, closing off the video with more negative things just isn't fair, right? Well, we've kept the best for the last. This is a story that is inspirational and heartwarming in the truest sense. Meet Zion Clark, a rare accomplishment for a guy born without legs. This past Zion Clark defeated Eugene Murray in a gladiator challenge match by unanimous decision. Despite having a rare birth condition, 25-year-old Clark has become a phenomenon in the world of sports. He competed in collegiate wrestling at Kent State and has 2 different Guinness records, including the highest box leap on 2 hands and the fastest 20-meter run in 4.78 seconds. Even though it was a proud occasion, Clark is already demonstrating that he is a true mixed martial artist by criticizing his own work that evening. Clark told MMA Fighting, "It might have been better. I'll be open and honest about that. I thought I could have gotten closer to the other person a little bit more. I thought I did alright keeping the center mat and shooing him into the cage. Don't give him room to move was a key point made by my coaches. Don't give him room to move if you're going to attack. Let him come to you if you're going to seek counters. I feel fine. Actually, I'm glad I won, but the outcome was still a touch too close for comfort." Ahead of this historic win, fans and fighters alike came out to praise the 25-year-old fighter for his sheer will to win. Perhaps the biggest one to come out is former UFC champion Conor McGregor, who was in good spirits after the win. McGregor tweeted, "Absolutely exciting to read about this man's debut and now watch it. On the low single, lighting entry, well, you shouldn't interact with him in any way. Frames only, frame to strike. Fascinating. Salutations and enormous admiration to Zion Clark. MMA is the best sport. MMA fans voiced their opinions and shared their thoughts on Twitter as news of this amazing feat spread on social media. While many praised the disabled fighter's tenacity, others questioned the veracity of his victory. While it's certainly encouraging to see people with disabilities getting the chance to demonstrate their skills at the highest level, there's still a long way to go, and hopefully, the industry can recognize the talent and provide these fighters with more resources to make it big. That's it for this week. Stay tuned by subscribing to Valor Strategy, where we bring the latest in MMA and UFC news. Till next week,